Okay, we're replacing the rear backup camera in a 2021 Kia Soul S. So this is the original. When we put it in reverse, the screen would just go black, and then it would flicker back to the main menu, and then it would flicker back to a black screen, and we'd never see it. So this is the one that didn't work. We're sort of doing this backwards because we didn't know what we were doing. Anyway, so the nice thing about the original is that when you put it into the harness, it fits flush. You see that right there? Tell me when you got it.
I got it.
It fits flush, so that's nice. Some of the aftermarket ones you can buy from eBay for $50 don't fit flush. This is the first one we tried. You'll notice that it has this sort of angled piece right here. You can't simply take the camera and replace it. The cordage and everything is different. But this particular model doesn't fit flush. You put it in and it never goes all the way. So I guess if your screws were long enough, it's fine. You could sit it there. The problem we had with this one is that we put it in, it worked the first time. We took it out, put the original back in to make a YouTube video. And during the video, we plugged this one back in, and the second time it didn't work anymore. So I don't know. We have a third one. That's the one we've got hooked up now. So this would be the one I recommend for a couple of reasons. You'll be able to identify this one on eBay because it's got this big black plastic rubber thing on the back that's usually down in this bit right here. Okay, so this big ugly black rubber thing on the back side is going to be the giveaway. That other one that ended up not working after the first attempt doesn't have that big black thing. It just has the cord right there. This one also didn't fit. It's a different geometry. So you see, I actually had to take it apart. It used to be like this, and there were 4 very long screws attaching it. But you can see it's a completely different shape than the original. And so you have to peel off the squishy bit, unscrew this part, all right, and you'll never put those screws back in. But it does fit now into the original, and then you can still put this piece over the top to secure it, and it doesn't really move around. So for whatever reason, it's close, but not close enough. Maybe you could shove it in there, I don't know. And then I'll figure out however to put this big goopy black plastic thing back on there. Okay, but it worked. Okay, one thing to notice about this harness is that it's got 2 attachments. One is for the camera, that's up here on the door. The other, which will come with your eBay purchase, okay, is what is the latch for when you want to open the door from the outside. Okay, so these 2 wires do 2 different things, but only one of them is to the camera. Hopefully this will keep working. This was $50 off eBay. I called the local dealer. A new camera was $571, so that's a no-go. So what we're going to do now is sort of reassemble all the pieces that went into this. One thing I'll notice, or you'll notice, is that I did take the harness for the camera and the door opener out. Here's where it was. I've got it sealed. Are you pointed up at that? I've got it sealed with duct tape right now as she's driving the car. Without anything there as we wait for shipping from eBay and all that garbage. And the reason I took it out is because you'll notice it's recessed. And if I steal the camera and come up to the other side, you can see this is where it goes. And I don't know how you're ever gonna unscrew the camera to get, I don't know. But it was a real big pain getting this harness out. There's some metal clips that go right here. It still has one of them on there. I'm gonna put the rest of them back on there. It was super hard to get out. You actually can tell I have dented the metal here trying to get it out. It was such a pain. So that's gonna be the hardest part. Because really you have to take the whole unit out. And if you got little baby hands, I bet you could get up there and unscrew it, but I don't have baby hands, so it was never gonna happen. So I had to just rip this thing out. But anyway, so I'll put that back in there. It's a pressure fit with those clips. There's nothing else you have to screw in there. So once I reattach the camera, I'll just Actually, I guess I have to, the harness will come in from the outside and the camera will go in from the inside. Nope. I'm gonna have to go ahead and install the camera and put the wires through the hole and then reattach coming from the inside. So let me just go ahead and take the pressure off of that. Will you hold this? Mm-hmm. Since I'm gonna have to do it again anyway. Now this is where we got in trouble with the other camera. That's exactly when it stopped working. That's when we unplugged it and unplugged it back in. So hopefully
it still works.
It'll work again. Okay, so that's easy enough. The other things that you might encounter when you go to replace this backup camera is you've got the big plastic piece, all right, that covers all of this, okay? There are no screws holding it on except for the handle screws. Wait, sir, can you hold that? Sorry. So, this little handle piece right here, one way or the other, right? You just pull on that and it will come out, and you just remove those two screws that are right there that go in here, right? Those are the only two screws. I've got them actually in the door so I wouldn't lose them, but that's what's holding that on. Those are the only two screws. Everything else is just these little, I forget what they're called, but they just pop out, and so there's a bunch of them. I've removed the little plates that go there, all right? These little plates is how you would access changing the brake light bulbs. So when you put this back up here, that's how you would usually change the brake light bulbs. These are really easy to remove. You just get a little screwdriver into that little hole and pop them out. Ripping this thing off, you're just gonna have to use some muscle. Just pull it on. Obviously after you remove these two screws from the handle part. Okay, so this is sort of in reverse order. All right, so that's gonna take a little time because I'm gonna need to screw the pieces back into that thing. So we'll end the video there, but the $50 eBay camera did work, so we'll see. Test now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in here, but I'm not gonna try very hard to actually get it in there. Oh no. Okay, well anyways, this was a super fail, but there's a little grommet that came with the original, but you can see it's just sort of falling out, and I'm not sure I care enough to try and actually get it in there correctly. Although I guess I should. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna test it. I have got this one with the squishy black rubber back piece installed. Do remember that I had to actually separate the black piece from the camera. They're no longer attached to each other, but the camera is very secure, which is really weird. So anyways, so I've taken all of the little clips out. These clips are a super pain. They're what hold this bigger bracket in the door. I've taken them all off. I'm gonna do you can see how much damage I've done to this thing, just trying to rip this thing out of the door. This was not meant to be serviced ever, which is a bad thing on Kia in my opinion. So we're gonna stick that there.
Oh, that went in pretty well.
Yeah, without those clips.
Ooh.
Woo! Trying to find the wire here. Here we go. All right. Okay. Let's plug this sucker in. This will be the third time we've plugged this thing in. Okay, I didn't get that really satisfying click noise, but there it goes. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave that there, not do anything. Let's turn on the car and prove that it still works.
I hope that it still works.
Oh, it's just my daughter's tiny. All right. And reverse. Look at that. There's a nice picture of the garage door. All right, so it still works. Third time's a charm. I think we're good to completely reassemble. So.
Oh, my feet are gonna be in that video.
So I am going to pull this out and put all these clips back on.
Oh.
Am I sweaty?
Sweaty.
Oh my gosh, I hate these clips. so much. You have no idea.
I think I'm getting a better shot of you gritting your teeth than of the thing.
The hell? I don't know. It's probably the way I took them off. Oh, okay. There's
One down, 5 to go.
Yeah, something like that. And these things are gonna fly everywhere when you rip this thing off the car. So you'll just kind of look around the floor of your garage or the rear of your car. Or, I mean, you can see how scuffed up these things are from me trying to rip this thing out. And remember, I bent the metal just trying to get this thing out of the car. Someone can help me out here and grab these so I don't have to hold this thing.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, I'm having second thoughts about putting them back on the top. That was the hardest part because you can't see what you're doing. Oh dear baby Jesus. Okay, one more. Uno mas.
You got it. Woo!
I gotta kind of guess where it goes. Oh, good
Okay,
guess.
that was good.
All right, I'm really tempted to make sure I haven't screwed anything up and try it again, just to make sure the camera works. That is how hard it was to remove that harness from the door. Oh my gosh. Still have a camera. Sweet. All right. Here you go. Or no. Yeah, here's this. Okay. I hope I haven't forgotten anything before I shove that thing back in there. Oh yeah, so the little grommet that was, is that what it's called? Grommet? Did I tell you that's what it's called? Gasket.
Gasket, yeah.
That went between the black piece and the harness that I pulled out. Does not work with the aftermarket harness. I had to pull that out, so you can't put that back in.
But it was useless anyways.
Yeah, on the original, it went in here somehow, but it's not compatible with the $50 replacements from eBay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you know, this one's actually pretty similar. It's got this, yeah, no, I'm not going there. Anyways, the new one you'll notice has the big plastic doodad, whereas the original has a softer plastic doodad. But the original has a much larger clearance here, so it fit. That's why with the current installation, this black piece that mounts to the bracket isn't actually screwed into the camera anymore. I had to take these screws out of the replacement, and they are really long screws. It is ridiculous how long they were. Right? That is really long.
Millimeter to feeder.
And so, but oh well. It works without them, and it seems secure. So, I really don't want to shove that back in there, but I think everything's ready to reassemble.
Right.
So, I've got everything plugged in. I've got the door trigger plugged in. That's also a wire that comes out of this bracket. This electrical coupling is for the camera and the door release. So, anyways, so I've got it plugged in.
Maybe you'll pop the metal back into place too.
That's working.
Oh, yay.
So that's good. I don't have to worry about, oh no, that part doesn't work. So I think I feel comfortable shoving this thing back in there. So
That's what she said.
there we go. It goes
Wait,
in.
why was that so much easier? I thought I was gonna be recording for like 3 minutes as you try to push it in.
Yeah, it'll take you 5 seconds to get back in and 50 minutes to get back out. Okay, so that is reattached.
Woo!
Let's take off the protective sticker here and let's assemble the rest of the car. I need a screwdriver, Phillips. You can tell I bent the metal because it doesn't sit as flush as it used to. That's how hard that is to get out. I'm sure the other problem is to disengage those clips, right? You have to do it from the inside. Yeah, good luck with that. It's way back here. I mean, if you're a baby, your hands fit, but if you're not a baby, you got to rip it out from the back. So I don't know what Kia was thinking. At least they made the headlight or the tail lights easy to replace. But that backup camera, we bought this at 60,000 miles, right outside the warranty. It was a previous rental car, you know how all these Kia Souls are at 60,000 miles. Hertz dumps them, or what is it? What's not Hertz? Anyways, they dumped the car as soon as the manufacturer warranty is expired. And our camera died at 70,000 miles, so go figure. All right, so let's put this back together. So again, this just popped in there with all these little white plastic things.
So hopefully it's easy to pop back in there.
That's my plan. I just gotta make sure I get everything aligned. You know, you just find the holes. Ooh.
I don't know if I'm helping.
I don't think you are.
I don't want to mess anything up.
Okay. Oh my god.
Want me to stop recording?
No. We need to show everyone the struggle.
So they feel understood and represented.
Yeah. Ooh, ooh.
Ooh, okay.
That was my monkey impression. And I'm just gonna go around and mash in various places. I kind of feel them pop in.
As you go.
Okay.
Yay!
And then the only two screws are in the handle. Again, this is a 2021 Kia Soul. I couldn't find any videos of any year model Kia Soul for doing this. So.
And the thing is, I saw a lot of people talking about how their backup camera stopped working,
Right.
so it's weird how there's not
So
one.
this has been a real adventure, buying one off eBay. We plugged it in, it worked. So we started reassembling. Gonna make a YouTube video, so we put the old camera back in to show you the black screen. It's just black, like there's nothing else. Some people report getting other things on the screen, but ours straight up went black. And it would bounce back and forth between the black screen and the home screen while you were in reverse. But ours was just solid black. Anyways, we put the original, or the first replacement in and worked the first time, unplugged it.
Started recording.
Went make the video, and it never worked again. I mean, I haven't tried it again since that day, but
we tried it like 5 more
20
times that day.
one day, and it didn't do anything. Here's the cover for that. So it's just a pressure fit as well. And so just snap that back in place. You can just pull it off to access those screws. And then we've got the right-hand side
Oh, that's smart.
for the, if you weren't an idiot, it works easily, but I'm an idiot. I am not a car mechanic. There we go. Ish. There we go. That's how you get to your lights. $5. We're gonna go in there and see that
The camera isn't
stopped
working.
That's what I get for buying a $50 one off of eBay. Okay, it is completely reassembled.
Ooh.
Let me get my tools out of my daughter's car before they disappear forever. Let's try it one more time with the door closed. Make sure we can open the door.
Should I close it?
Yep. Let's close it. One other thing I would say, these things right here, I don't know if yours has got these. They're just these little rubber stoppers, right? That have threads. And so you thread it into these holes All right, and this is, you want to make sure these are in contact with your car, because if you've got them screwed all the way in, they won't touch this, and then your door will rattle. And so you want to make sure that you pull these out so that they are in contact with the frame of the car. And so I can look down here and see that those little rubber stoppers are in contact with the frame on both sides, so the door doesn't wobble. Now let's make sure we can open it. We can. Let's start it and see if the camera still works.
Want to get my key out of the rear of the camera?
Dun dun dun. Camera! Is that what it's supposed to look like?
Yeah.
All right. I'm nervous. I feel like it shifted the camera. It didn't. It's all the way out. There it is.
Yay!
Okay, so
We did it!
we got it in there with a $50 eBay. Hope that helps.
Yay!
What follows is the original YouTube we were going to try to make with the first replacement camera we bought from eBay. And the reason I included this is that it shows you the black screen we were getting with the original camera that came with the car. And then it shows you how the first replacement, we saw it work the first time, but didn't get it on recording. But you saw that it does absolutely nothing the second or third time. So I'm not sure what's wrong with it. But anyway, so that was just there to kind of, there's some other details in there if you care to watch it. So, all right, we have a 2021 Kia Soul S. Put it in reverse on the backup camera. Screen goes black. Nothing. Just sort of blinks back and forth between the two. All right. So, wasn't sure I'll put it back apart. So we've already actually taken the door apart because we knew that was a issue, right? So we've already taken the camera out. It was mounted. Oh, where does it mount? No, that's. I'm feeling really dumb right now. Anyways, we'll remember how this works in a minute. Anyways, we've already taken the mount out where the camera goes, also the trigger for the door. So that's where the camera goes, along with the thing you press to open the door. So anyways, so here's the old camera. So let's take that off. We got a new camera from eBay for $50. Obviously not from eBay, but from some random person on eBay. Because I called the dealership and they said a new camera was $571, and I was like, no thanks. So here is the new camera. We know it's the new camera because it still has the blue film over the lens. All right, and you can see that's all it takes to get the image back. As soon as the car realizes we're in reverse.
It was working.
Okay, reverse. Come on. What is the car doing? Oh my gosh. Okay. I was afraid that was gonna happen. Okay, let's try this again. We unhooked it, hooked it back in. Again, it's the new one. Got the blue film on there. Why doesn't the car recognize it's in reverse?
I don't know.
Get out of the way.
Oh my gosh.
It is in reverse. Real exciting. All right, we got a 2021 Kia Soul here. We have taken the camera harness, or whatever you call this, bracket off the back because the camera was not working. and I want to show you a product that we tried and it kind of worked. What we have here is, this is the original camera, and you'll notice that when you go to put it in the harness, it slips in. Okay, and then you would just secure it with screws so you can see how it fits very nicely in there. We got a camera from eBay. It worked once. It looks like this, so you'll notice that the wire comes out of the black piece. That plugs in there. It looks like it should fit, but it doesn't. It goes in, but you can never get it flush. So I guess if your screws are long enough, you can still screw it in, but it doesn't actually ever sit flush like the original one. We got this camera to work once. We unplugged it, did some stuff to make a YouTube video about how it worked, and then plugged it back in, and it never worked again. But I guess that's a terrible thing because it doesn't fit the bracket anyway, so there's no way. And the reason is because this plastic piece right here sticks out further than the original. See, that's the difference. It's literally millimeters we're talking about. The original fits, no problem. This one doesn't. Thank you.